everyone, Steph here from thegoodride.com. We are taking a look at the Meraki from Rossignol in a 145. This is one of Rossignol's freestyle decks. It's a little bit more of a mellow freestyle deck when compared to their other freestyle board, the Diva. It's a little bit softer flexing, it has more rocker, it's a little bit more playful, and would be fun on small to medium park features, and taking its freestyle personality to all mountain terrain as well. So I paired this with my Vans Luna boots and Union Ultra bindings most of the time. And I tried this in the 145, and it comes in 3 sizes, a 140, a 145, and a 150. So not too many sizes to choose from, but one in every section of the size range. So you get small, medium, and a little bit larger. It comes with a 4 out of 10 flex, so it's pretty soft, it's pretty playful, it's easy to butter and kind of play around on. It also has a generous amount of rocker in the nose and the tail that helps keep it feeling butterable and playful and soft as well. So the Camber Profile on the Meraki is their Amtech Auto Turn Rocker. So it has a very small positive camber profile here, and you can see that it still has their stickers on it. So the positive camber is here in between the bindings, and the rocker is from here out and here out. So it has quite a bit of rocker on it and just a tiny zone of positive camber that it's honestly quite difficult to even see when you're looking down the side cut. But this little bit of positive camber gives you just a tiny bit added more control and a little bit more pop and energy than you would get from a full rocker snowboard. The rocker helps it feel very maneuverable, very playful, lots of butters, it feels good on jibs, and helps a little bit in softer snow. So if you're riding powder, it helps there too. It comes with a sintered base, which is kind of cool because it's a little bit more of a playful freestyle board. And a lot of those types of boards don't really come with sintered bases. Most of them are extruded. So it's cool it comes with a sintered base. You know, it'll stay fast for you and give you extra glide. Another feature that the Meraki has is Rossignol's 3S serrated edge, which is a very mellow kind of wave along the edge. This adds a little bit extra edge hold, which helps make up for the loss of edge hold that you get from having so much rocker. And so that's nice because it just adds a tiny bit more control and a little bit more bite in the snow for you. So the most prominent one is in between the inserts, and then there are some mellow ones on the tip and tail. So you get 3 bumps per edge on the toe edge and the heel edge. But they're pretty mellow bumps. They just provide a little extra edge hold if you need it. The Meraki is a true twin. It's exactly the same length on the nose and the tail. There's no setback on side cut or anything like that. And it has a 240 millimeter waist width in all 3 sizes, which I find kind of interesting. So it has the same waist width whether you get the 140, the 145, or the 150. Yeah, so let's talk about this a little bit. I tested it in a variety of different conditions, mostly midwinter conditions. I got it in a little bit of some spring conditions as well up at Timberline, but mostly I rode it at Mammoth in some midwinter conditions. Meraki's feel on snow is pretty loose, it's pretty playful, so it only has a little bit of positive camber in it, and so it is pretty catch free, it's easy to turn, it's pretty quick to turn, which gives it a couple things, right? It makes it very playful, but it also takes a little bit away of the control and stability and technicality of the board. And so this is definitely more for that playful rider, for the person who wants to get out and butter and do flat ground tricks and spins and have a little bit of a playful ride around the mountain. So up in the steeps, you know, where it's a little bit steeper, you're riding a little quicker, the Meraki is pretty good. It can definitely handle, but it wants to ride at a slower speed. It's not like a hard charger. And so it makes kind of small radius turns, a little bit more skidded type turn. And yeah, it's a little bit more mellow, but it's pretty quick to turn. And so it would be good for an intermediate rider, or if you're just getting into steeps and you just want a board that's like easy to turn and you're not going to get it locked up on, the Meraki is pretty good for that. But again, a little bit more of that medium speed. It's not extremely stable, so if you start going really fast, it won't absorb the bumps and like choppy snow quite as good as a board that's a little more stiff and has a little bit more positive camber to it. So a pretty mellow rider in the steeps, it can definitely handle, but at like a mellower type pace. And so off-piste, it's pretty fun off-piste. Again, a little bit more mellow, a little bit more loose feeling. And so in softer snow, it feels pretty good. It's quick and nimble and easy to maneuver through trees, easy to ride through moguls, but again, you're going to lose a little bit on the performance side and more of like that medium fast speed and just kind of like a more mellow ride through off-piste terrain. And then if we bring the Meraki to Groomers, pretty fun on Groomers, again, pretty consistent throughout, more of a medium to fast speed board, not really a hard charger, and so it kind of wants to play around on the Groomers. It wants to make turns, it wants to make more skidded turns than carved turns, and more kind of small to medium radius turns as well. But it's a very playful board, so you know, you can go search out the side hits, you can go look for things to play on, you can do some butter tricks, kind of flat ground tricks and stuff like that, and it's pretty fun for that. For carving, it's more of a medium carver. It doesn't have a whole lot of positive camber, and so the energy from turn to turn isn't too great. It's more of a medium energy turn to turn, so it prefers more of a skidded turn and just kind of like a more chill, relaxed ride. It has a 4 out of 10 flex, and for the softer flex and for the amount of rocker that it has, it's a pretty stable board. If you were to compare this board to other almost full rocker boards, you know, or 4 out of 10 flex boards, some boards tend to be a little bit more like floppy, but the Meraki does pretty well in stability for the flex and camber profile that it has. For edge hold, it's going to have a medium edge hold on ice. It'll prefer a little bit better conditions, a little bit softer snow. It does have the slightly serrated edge, so that's great because it does help with edge hold. When you're riding steep terrain or when you're in a little bit crusty, icy snow, it's going to have a little bit of extra edge hold to it, which is nice, but it's not going to have the type of edge hold that a board with more positive camber in it has, or a little bit more side cut disruption, or like a stiffer flexing board. So more of that medium hard to soft snow is where this will feel best. So for powder, the Meraki would handle pretty well in powder. It has a good amount of rocker. So again, like from here up is rocker. It is a true twin, so you're not going to get much directional float, but the rocker does help. It would hold up well in your mellow storm days. Maybe not if it's getting super deep because it is a true twin and you can't set it back too much, but it's got a lot of rocker. It would be pretty easy to ride on a powder day for being a true twin board. But if you do want to set it back, you can set it back just a little bit. So if you do set the bindings all the way back, as far back as you can go on the 145, you get a 20.5-inch stance width, and it would give you about 1 inch setback on board. Not too much, but it will add a little bit of directional ride for you. So bringing it down to the park, again, I feel like this is a great board for someone who wants to just get into the park, wants to kind of learn how to ride the park, or wants to start riding in a freestyle type way. It is friendly enough to hit some boxes and rails on. It's not going to be that punishing, and so you can get away with being a little off balance, or it's going to help you not catch an edge if you come into the landing a bit weird. So it feels good on boxes and rails for sure. The amount of pop this board has is kind of in the medium range. Again, it doesn't have a whole lot of positive camber, and it's a little bit of a softer flex. So it's going to be a medium amount of pop. So that's why I say it's kind of best for the small to medium features in the park. Fun on jumps though. It's playful. It's not like an aggressive board, so it can handle jumps, but it's a little bit looser in the landing, which is neither good nor bad. It's going to give you a little bit more room for error, and you know, if you're spinning or something like that, it'll be a little bit more forgiving in the landing if you're not perfect. But medium amount of pop, and so if you're going to hit bigger features, you definitely have to work the board a bit harder. It's not going to do most of the work for you that like a positive camber board would do. Kind of not a great board for the half pipe unless it's a softer snow kind of spring slushy type pipe. It won't have a really firm edge hold up some icy pipe walls, but playful enough to play around in like a mini pipe or in a spring conditions pipe. For switch, it rides great switch. It rides the same switch as it does regular. It's a true twin, so no issues there. Feels exactly the same. Good for spinning tricks, you know, taking off switch, landing switch, or just riding switch because you want to, playing around in butter tricks and stuff like that. So overall, you know, it would be a good board for an intermediate to advanced rider, someone who's looking for a more playful ride, a more catch-free ride. It wouldn't be a terrible board for a beginner, honestly, but it's more of a freestyle deck. So if you're looking for a playful board that is catch-free, that you can butter around, that you can ride in a playful freestyle type way, all over the mountain or just in the park, maybe check out the Meraki. So that's a look at the Rossignol Meraki in a 145. If you are looking for the complete ride-up and review, you can head over to thegoodride.com to check it out.